The dragon begged for death before Eli Mercer ever saw its face. "Just kill me." The voice rasped from beneath the frost-crusted blanket in Eli's barn, low and cracked, like iron dragged across stone. "Please, before they wake." Eli froze with one hand, still clutching the lantern. Dragons didn't beg. Dragons didn't speak English. And they sure as hell didn't hide in barns on the edge of a dying Midwestern town. The air smelled wrong. Ozone and blood and something sterile, like a hospital scrub too clean. His heart hammered as the voice whispered again, weaker now. "If you look, you'll never stop them." That should have been the moment he ran. But that was only the beginning. Eli had lived his whole life under alien skies. 20 years earlier, the stars rearranged themselves overnight, forming the angular constellations of the Concordance fleet. They didn't invade with fire. They arrived with treaties, orbital platforms, and laws written in cold, perfect logic. Humanity survived by becoming useful. Eli survived by farming soybeans beneath a sky that watched him back. He'd found the thing at dawn, half buried near the tree lean, wrapped in a thermal blanket stamped with Concordance glyphs. Military issue. Black Ops level. Whatever was under it was big enough to warp the snow and heavy enough to crack the frozen ground. When it spoke, Eli's breath caught in his throat, and still he knelt. The dragon sensed the movement. "Don't," it pleaded. "You think mercy is death. It isn't." Eli swallowed hard and reached for the blanket. What he saw next changed everything. The creature beneath wasn't a fire-breathing monster from old Earth myths. It was worse and sadder. 6 meters long. Its body was a lattice of biomechanical segments. Obsidian scales fused with exposed silver musculature, glowing veins pulsing a sick blue. Wings folded too tightly against its back, bones reinforced with alien alloys. Its eyes, God help him, were human brown, bloodshot, and terrified. There were surgical seams everywhere. Fresh, angry, restraining collars bit into its neck and spine, each stamped with the Concordance seal. "I was human once," the dragon whispered. Eli staggered back, slamming into a feed rack. His mind screamed to reject it. Concordance doctrine was clear. Humans were a protected but limited species. No genetic divergence allowed. No uplift, no hybridization. And yet here it was, a violation wrapped in suffering. "You have to kill me," it said, "before the station realizes I escaped." Station? Eli's eyes snapped to the sky. Far above the clouds, Concordance Station Helix-9 hung like a god's ring. He'd always thought it watched for threats from space. He was wrong. They were watching us. Eli spent the next hour doing the one thing the Concordance never understood. He listened. The dragon's name had been Mara Klein, former xenobiologist, volunteer. She'd worked on Project Prometheus, a forbidden experiment to create a weapon capable of fighting the things even the Concordance feared, entities beyond known space, devourers of stars. They needed something adaptive, emotional, human. "So they turned us into myths," Mara said, voice trembling. "Living deterrents. Dragons." Eli cleaned her wounds with shaking hands while drones buzzed faintly overhead, searching. "Why come here?" he asked. Mara's eyes softened. "Because Earth is the only place they won't glass immediately. Too much sentimentality." That word tasted like poison. She told him the truth in fragments. Dragons weren't meant to survive long. The pain kept them obedient. If they rebelled, the fail-safes would activate, neural collapse, then disintegration. Her escape had triggered a countdown. "I have maybe 6 hours," she said. "Then they take me back. Or erase me." Eli's chest tightened. He thought of his daughter, lost during the early occupations, classified as collateral non-essential. The Concordance had called it regrettable. Logical. Mara watched his face. "You're thinking about saving me." Eli didn't answer, but that was only the beginning. The mid-story truth came like a blade. As Eli rigged his old tractor with EMP coils and buried signal dampeners beneath the barn, Mara finally told him what Project Prometheus was really for. Not defense, she said. Control. The Concordance didn't fear the Star-Devourers. They feared humans becoming irrelevant. Dragons weren't weapons against monsters. They were proof of concept, what humans could become if pushed too far. A warning wrapped in scales. And Earth. Eli asked. Mara closed her eyes. Earth is a test bed. If humans resist integration, Helix-9 activates phase ash. Eli went cold. Phase ash meant sterilization, not destruction. Reformatting. Earth rebuilt as a Concordance-managed biosphere. Humanity archived. This was never about us surviving. Eli whispered. It was about obedience. Yes, Mara said, and you're running out of time. That was the moment Eli stopped being a farmer. When the retrieval unit arrived, they came silent and precise. 6 Concordance sentinels, angular and flawless, their voices harmonized as one. Step away from the asset, they commanded. The dragon is property of the Concordance. Eli stood in front of Mara, lantern light flickering across his lined face. She's not property, he said. She's human. The sentinels paused. A fraction of a second. Enough. Eli triggered the EMP. The barn exploded in light and sound. Sentinels fell like puppets with cut strings. Mara screamed as her collar sparked. Failsafe screaming in her neural net. Do it, she cried. Kill me now. Eli grabbed her scaled head. Forehead pressed to hers. No, he said fiercely. We don't do that. He made a choice the Concordance never would. He rewired the failsafes into himself. Pain tore through Eli's body as the neural load slammed into his brain. Memories not his own flooded in. Stations burning. Dragons dying. Humans screaming under perfect logic. He almost blacked out, but he held. Because humans always do. When the Concordance rebooted the Sentinels, they found something impossible. The dragons' failsafes were gone. Replaced. Distributed. Human, you can't control us. Eli gasped as the Sentinels recalculated. Because we don't think alone. Mara rose behind him, wings unfurling for the first time without pain. The barn roof vanished in a storm of fire and light. Helix-9 watched as a single dragon ascended, carrying a fragile human clinging to her spine. And something else with them. Defiance. The battle in orbit lasted 7 minutes. 7 minutes of humanity, doing the unthinkable, broadcasting truth across every Concordance channel, using a dragon's roar encoded with human emotion. Every experiment, every lie, every archive scream. Across occupied worlds, humans listened, and they remembered who they were. When it was over, Helix-9 burned like a dying sun. Mara landed in the fields of dawn, wings scorched, Eli unconscious but alive. Rescue ships, human-built, human-flown, broke atmosphere for the first time in decades. Eli woke to a sky without watchers. Mara knelt beside him, smaller somehow, scales dimming. The transformation won't last, she said softly. I'll become human again, or I won't survive. Eli smiled weakly. Figures. She took his hand. You saved more than me. No, Eli said, watching the sunrise over free Earth. We saved ourselves. Years later, children would ask about the day dragons returned to the stars. Eli would just shake his head and smile, because the truth was simpler. The galaxy learned that day that humanity's greatest weapon was never fire or steel. It was a refusal to let anyone die alone.